So this motherfucker getting out, man. He just gonna get out the fucking spaceship. Hey, man, get the fuck out of here, man. Let me see this video. He told me he asked me to watch, man. You motherfuckers, you. Um,
The Saturn V rocket took humans to the moon for the first time, but the humans didn't steer the rocket. It steered itself using a computer.
Tower cleared.
they had a computer that could steer a rocket in 1965.
A lot of the Saturn V rocket was built here in Huntsville, Alabama, otherwise known as Rocket City. And one of the really cool things about living here is it's filled with aerospace.
Look how weird this guy looks. He's a fucking liar too. You can tell he's a liar. They all look like fucking liars. Every last one of these motherfuckers, man. Bunch of fucking liars. Look how happy he is and shit. Boy Kashina says NASA invented microwave ovens. Yeah, they invented every fucking thing. The goddamn bed, the what's that foam bed? They invented that shit. That shit is terrible for your back. What's that bed that I used to work at Brookstone and shit, and we used to sell those beds. I sold a couple of them joints. Not Tempur-Pedic, the foam. They say NASA made it. It's the bed.
And yeah, like the space age foam shit.
God damn, what was the name of that shit? I forgot the name of that shit. Fuck. You got a big bonus for selling them beds though. Jesus, I can't remember the name of that bed. That shit's horrible for your back. You hear me? Like, cause you sink into it. It's terrible and it's dreadful. Memory foam.
And computer engineers who love this stuff. So a thing you can actually do here is pick up the phone and call one of your friends and have them call their friend. And before you know it, you're in a parking lot receiving a Saturn V memory module from a guy you just met, and he just trusts that you're going to give it back to him. This is 14 kilobytes of data, which is really interesting because the same day I got this, I had Linus.
14 kilobytes of data. That worked the first time they did it. 14 kilobytes. What the fuck is a kilobyte? In
day I got this, I had Linus Sebastian from Linus Tech Tips here. We were installing a server that was over 100 terabytes. Now, millions of people look to Linus to understand more about modern computing hardware. So I thought a really cool thing to do would be stop what we were doing with the server and take a closer look at this memory module and how it works. Let's sit back and watch a modern computer nerd learn about the cutting edge technology from the 1960s. I'm Destin. Let's go get smarter every day.
Have you ever seen a Saturn V rocket?
No.
Okay. Do you know what the Saturn V is?
Yes.
My daily life literally revolves around the Saturn V. Like that's the Saturn V peeking out over the trees right there.
Oh, there it is. Hello.
In the 60s, they had just started building digital computers, and I'm going to show you the computer that they used to steer that thing.
I mean, it's got to be a bit of a terrifying experience having, like, you know, the equivalent of a very large bomb strapped to your butt.
So this is the brain for the Saturn V rocket. If you look up right here, this is the instrumentation ring. And so they had computers on here that were digital. This right here is the launch vehicle digital computer. That is it. This right here is a memory module, okay? And if you look really, really, really close, you see those little bitty rings?
Yeah.
Okay, look right here. Look at that. Do you see that?
Holy smokes. So they're just, it looks like zip ties on chicken wire.
Okay, those are bits. Those are physical bits. So you see that screen?
Yeah.
These are wires that go down to these boards right here, right?
Yeah.
On each node, you have an iron ring. And depending on how the iron ring is magnetized, that's a 1 or a 0. That's how they programmed this computer. Seriously. So look at this right here.
So by hand,
By hand,
they
yes.
threaded these wires through the. I mean, who has a steady in it? Like, I don't even think you could build one of these today if you wanted to. That's incredible.
So there's a guy that worked on this in the 60s here. His name is Luke.
Yeah.
And you get to ask him all of these questions.
Luke the
Fantastic.
liar.
I'm Luke Talley, and at this time in 1969, I was a senior associate engineer at IBM in Huntsville.
So your computer pointed the rocket.
That's right.
Awesome.
We steered the rocket. That's a memory module.
It's a whole memory module,
You
yeah.
must
Nah, a black woman. Didn't the black woman do this shit? Isn't that what we saw in the movie? The black woman did this shit, man. Fuck is going on, man? Shout out to Boy Kachin said, just admit you're afraid of heights. Out. Two things can be true at the same time, man. Two things can be true.
have shot somebody to get that.
So how valuable would you
now
say
this,
that is?
I have no idea. You have to go to the Antique Roadshow. This computer controls all the timing, start engine, stop engine, fire separation rockets, fire retro rockets, all this kind of stuff. It does navigation and guidance. You have stored in the memory a profile. At this point in time, I need to be here, going this fast, going in this direction. Now realize that this is core memory. So you have these magnetic cores, you have the wires feeding through the cores. You push a current down through a wire. If you got a wire, if current's going in that direction, the magnetic field is going to be in this direction. If it's going this way, it'll be that way.
Yeah.
Make that a 1, make that a 0. There's 8,192 of those on this plane, all right?
Yeah.
Then there's 14 of those planes stack up to make this module.
Yo, what the fuck are you talking about?
On there trying to sound smart.
This shit is a joke, man. You gotta be fucking kidding me. People actually believe this shit.
On today's episode, NASA has a new problem with the Artemis moon mission. We set sail on the solar winds. A new lunar landing is on the books. Inflatable space habitats are blowing up. And this week's video is brought to you by the Space Race newsletter. Check it out today. Just when you thought that NASA's Artemis moon landing operations couldn't possibly get any more complicated, from the massively expensive and outdated SLS launcher to the massively massive and complex Starship lander to the totally non-existent Gateway space station, now we're hearing that of all things, it is the launch tower that's going to ruin everything. How did that happen? Well, in yet another of their famous cost-plus contract awards, NASA's builder of the Mobile Launcher 2 has somehow allowed the project cost to balloon up to 6 times the original quoted price. And even worse than...
So now they need more money. They need more money,
your
man.
tax dollars. Why your taxes continue to go higher and higher and higher?
Just give us some more money. We promise we're going to the moon one day, man. Give us some more money. All this shit.
than that, these construction problems could put the first crewed landing on the moon in jeopardy. The Mobile Launcher platform is a piece of hardware that NASA has been using since the 1960s.
The first crewed landing? The fuck? What's a crewed landing? Didn't you already land? Y'all didn't land crudely the last time? 50 years ago when y'all did this shit, yeah, it wasn't crewed. So look at how much they've advanced since they went. And they can't go yet. They need $6 gazillion more dollars to fucking.
It allows the technicians to stack a large, complex rocket system like the Saturn V, the Space Shuttle, and the SLS, and then integrate that rocket with the launch tower while all of the components are still safely inside the vertical assembly building. So when it's all ready to go, they just slowly wheel the whole mobile.
It's embarrassing, man, that they think we're this stupid, man, because a lot of us are. It's embarrassing, man. And listen, if this shit is fake, You wouldn't have to fake this shit if all that shit you were doing up there was real. And you know what I'm saying? You wouldn't have to fake anything. If the world was a globe, it would just be evident. You would been able to prove to us that the world was a globe. There would be no shadow of a doubt.
And what kills me is they're so busy trying to figure out what's going on up there, and they haven't even discovered, they haven't even discovered every square inch of this planet this so-called planet that we live on, this globe or this blue marble, or they haven't discovered everything here yet, but yet and still you want to go up in space.
Insane, man. Salute to boy Kachin. He says Raytheon invented microwave ovens by accident in 1946, working on radar. My bad. I guess so.
Yes, yeah, it's a bunch
Platform
of
over to the launch pad. NASA built 3 of these rigs for the Apollo program in the 1960s, which were then repurposed for space shuttle operations in the 80s. Between 2009 and 2010, a 4th platform was constructed. This is Mobile Launcher 1. It was hardware designed to support the George W. Bush era Constellation program, which was a moon to Mars exploration project very similar to what Artemis is today. Constellation was canceled in 2010, but it left behind this one launch tower and a couple of design concepts for a big rocket and a deep space crew capsule. That original Ares rocket design would become the Space Launch System, and the Mobile Launcher 1 would be retrofit to support the new rocket. But SLS is already a bigger vehicle than the launch tower was originally designed to handle, so while NASA has been able to make do with the initial Block 1 configuration of SLS, in order to upgrade the rocket to its much-needed Block 1B, they're going to need an entirely new mobile launcher to accompany it. ML2 is going to support the new exploration upper stage of the SLS, which is a bigger, more powerful propulsion system that will allow the Orion capsule to carry both a crew and a cargo payload into lunar orbit. The ML2 tower would need relocated access and egress arms for crew transport into the taller rocket. It also needs a more substantial vehicle damper system to stabilize the new rocket system against high winds and vibration from transport. Additionally to that, the umbilical connections need to support more propellant transfer for the exploration stage's larger hydrogen and oxygen tanks. On top of all that, the ML2 just needs to be much beefier than the current ML1, which wasn't designed to handle the power of the SLS. And we saw that after the first launch of Artemis 1. The launch tower systems were pretty badly damaged by the force of the rocket. Plumbing was shredded, doors were blown off, nothing that couldn't be fixed, but it was far from ideal.
All these fucking dumbass stories that try to make us feel real and shit. All this color, they coloring in all with a bunch of bullshit stories that had nothing to do with your ass actually going to space. This is fucking horse shit, man. This is
and a lot of people like to smell it.
NASA's SLS moon rocket is doomed to fail. This is not a new idea. It's something that critics of the American space program have been saying for years. It's even something that fans of the American space program have been saying for years. But according to some recent leaked information, it's starting to look like even NASA themselves have come to believe that the SLS is a lost cause. Now, that doesn't mean that the Artemis moon landing is canceled, or at least it doesn't have to be. It just means that there needs to be a change in plans, one that's been a long time coming. This new revelation about the internal struggle at NASA comes from a post on X written by Eric Berger. He says, based on what I'm hearing, it seems at least 50-50 that NASA's Space Launch System rocket will be canceled. Not Block 1B, not Block 2, all of it. Eric is the lead space writer at the website Ars Technica. He's an old school journalist who's been doing this for a very
Look at this fucking guy. Look at this shit, man. This is all bullshit. Wow. This is all horse shit. Wow. And y'all believe this stuff. Y'all believe this stuff. Elon knows space is fake. Yeah, he that's a racket. He getting all that money from SpaceX. You need to put Doge on that shit. You need to put Doge on SpaceX. It's a bunch of bullshit. This is so bullshit. This is their stuff. This is the stuff they put out. Look at the stuff they put out. Look at the shit they put out.
If we could get to the moon in the 1960s,
No way.
why does it seem so hard to do it now in the 21st century? Like we've all seen, or remember the 1960s. We had giant computers that could now fit inside of a little calculator, let alone the computing capacity of your smartphone. We had technology that is laughably out of date by today's standards.
New guy, man, you gotta connect your device. Your device is not connected, new guy. I don't know why y'all guys can't come in. You gotta go out and come back in. Your device is not connected.
And we just did it. If we could get to the moon in the 1960s,
No way.
why does it seem so hard to do it now in the 21st century? Like we've all seen, or remember the 1960s. We had giant computers that could now fit inside of a little calculator, let alone the computing capacity of your smartphone. We had technology that is laughably out of date by today's standards.
You didn't have to prove it back then. Now you gonna have to prove that you went. So many fucking news agencies and fucking independent fucking news and internet and all this shit. You want to prove you went now. Back then it was 3 channels. That's it. Your TV only had 3 channels. Didn't even have the WB or CW even back then. Just 3 channels: ABC, NBC, and CBS. Didn't even have Fox on the TV. It was just 3 fucking channels. That was the only way you had the world and the radio. Didn't even have fucking call waiting. They didn't even call waiting back then on the fucking telephone.
And we just did it. And yet now it seems almost impossible. Like we've been trying to recapitulate it for almost 2 decades.
The news was literally the news had to go to print by like 3 o'clock to make the next day's paper. So you would get the paper in your bushes the next morning, and that would be everything that happened before 3 o'clock the previous day. And that would be today's news in the newspaper.
Now, like we've been hearing for decades, oh, we're going back to the moon. NASA's we're headed back to the moon, more people on the moon. It's taking forever. Our current plans are bloated, horribly late, over budget, and it seems like it's getting worse. What's going on? Well, to set things up, let me paint the picture of the difference between the 1960s and 70s Apollo missions and our current strategy with the Artemis project. So let's start with Apollo. On July 16th, 1969, we made history. At 9:30 in the morning, the Saturn V rocket, the largest, most powerful rocket ever built, ignited. Capable of over 34.5 million newtons of thrust at launch, the Saturn V hoisted 48 tons of fuel, equipment, landers, life support systems, communications gear, a command module, a descent module, and an ascent module.
What's your thoughts, new guy?
What are you talking about there? Are you talking about the flat Earth or the moon or both?
All of it.
Okay, with the flat Earth thing, rather than me trying to prove to you why the Earth is spherical, I think it probably makes more intuitive sense to anyone to just ask, like, all right, well, the Earth's flat, like, where's the end of the Earth? I think that's a pretty tough one to answer coherently.
Yeah, but we're just a puddle on a big ice sheet. Like, we're not like, it's not like we're just the whole Earth. We're just a puddle, man. We're just a puddle inside of a big ice sheet.
But okay,
In
so
this ice sheet.
obviously the Earth is not infinite, right? That's just obvious. You just look up in the sky at night and you can see that it's obviously an empty universe with, you know, the Earth in it. So if the Earth is not infinite and the shape of the Earth is not a spherical one, but it's rather a flat one or one with like a rigid edge, then intuitively doesn't that mean that there would be an end of the Earth that could be reached physically?
This is what I think. I think our moon and our sun, our local moon and our sun, carved out a puddle in the ice sheet. And the ice sheet is endless. And that's what Antarctica is, the ice sheet. But there's probably other moons and other suns somewhere else that are carving out puddles, and who knows what's out there. But I don't look at it like, oh, we're this is the only thing. No, there's plenty of other shit, space and time out there and matter on the flat Earth. But this is just our localized sun and moon. Like, we can only be where our moon and sun is. That's the only way life could exist. Where our moon and sun is, we're being sustained by our local moon and our sun. That's spinning, man. Let me show you. I think I can show you what I really think.
All right, let's see it. But do you believe in satellites? Because that's basically how they did the moon.
Nah, I don't believe in satellites at all, man.
Okay. Can't you can like see satellites though, like with a telescope. Like you can just like visually see them.
Yeah, I bet. I bet.
Wait, you've flown on a plane before though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then come on. How do you explain that then? Like looking out the window. What are we talking about here?
What do you mean?
It's clearly spherical.
Nah, it's clearly flat.
No, look out the window on a plane. It is totally like there is a spherical shape to it. It's not completely flat.
You said it's not a. All right, let me see. This is the closest one that I can find to it.
Okay.
That let me see. I used to be able. I just gotta save this shit next time I see it. Like, no, not even that. That's not the one that I wanted to show you. But this is our local sun, and our moon and our sun are not 8 gazillion bazillion miles away. They're right there. They're right there.
Okay.
They're local. Here it is. Here it goes. Okay. And some people believe in the firmament, that there's a firmament that's over us. I don't know about the firmament, but I do know that we have a local moon and a local sun rotating. And this is a big ice sheet. I don't believe in this part where it's just a big float. I think the ice sheet is infinite.
Okay, so all right, so then if I'm on that plane right there, won't I eventually walk headfirst into the ice sheet?
Yeah, that's Antarctica.
Oh no! Come on! No. All right, I see what you're saying.
How could water can sustain? You need a vessel to sustain water. The only way water, this whole water, we're on a globe and the water's on the outside of the globe. Mm-mm. This is the only way water can stay contained is in a vessel.
Well, the water is staying contained on the sphere for the same reason you and I are, because it's being pulled directly to the center of the Earth.
Yeah, but that takes a lot to fucking, you know, that it's easier to just Occam's razor is that we're being contained by a big ice sheet in our local moon over gazillions of years. Our local moon and local sun carved out a puddle in a big ice sheet, and the water's being contained by the ice outside of the heat of the sun and the moon, and it's just a big circle.
So then, if this model here is correct, doesn't that mean we could literally go to that ice, right? Because that's Antarctica.
Yes.
Literally, like, climb up it and out of the frying pan, and then like drop off into outer space.
No, I don't. I believe the ice sheet is infinite. I don't think that the ice sheet is not just there. Like, it's not like we're in a cup. We're in a big infinite ice sheet that you can't fathom or measure.
Okay, so is the ice sheet like infinitely going up and down like a big column, or is it infinitely in like a planar area and you could keep walking on the ice for forever?
I feel like you can't fathom it. It's just like the moon. Like, we don't know what it is. We don't know. We can't scope it. We can't. You know what I mean?
What do you mean scope it?
Like, we can't fucking fathom. We don't know. Like, we can't count it. We can't. Like, we humans. We got to the point where we can calculate everything and da da da. I don't believe you can calculate all that stuff. Like, it's just infinite.
Well, why would it be difficult to calculate?
Because we calculate stuff based on what we know, things that we've already conquered. As far as, but we can't. There's other stuff that we haven't conquered, that we haven't that we can't know, that we don't know. Humans have gotten real arrogant, thinking we know everything. We don't know everything. I don't know everything.
Well, I think most scientists that are like atheists, at least, will concede that like they can know things about what's in the universe, and that's it. We can't have knowledge about what created the universe or what's outside it, or even if there is something outside of it. I think like most scientists would concede that. I think I would too. So I don't know why it would be hard to. Like, it's not like they looked at the moon and then they just went, "Oh, that thing's really heavy." Like they use like the gravity formulations, and they like measure like the distance of the rotation, and then they calculate the size and the weight of the Earth in the same way they would do a satellite or any other body, really. So it's not like a unique object in any way. It's just kind of big and there and spooks people out, I guess. Hold on, wait. Is the moon a sphere?
Is the moon a sphere? I don't know what the moon is.
Is the moon like this ice thing? Is it like a flat plane that is like enclosed?
I don't know what the moon is. I think the moon is just. I don't think anybody. There's no way they've been to the moon. Like, I don't think they've even been close to the moon. But I do know that the moon is something that, like, the moonlight. I don't even think they understand the moonlight. Like, moon, they look at the moon and the sun as equal opposites. But what if the moon and the sun are something different? What if they both like serve the same purpose?
What do you mean by equal opposites?
Like, the sun is lights up the daytime, and the moon lights up the nighttime. But I mean, there are plants that live on moonlight. We don't understand. I don't understand all this shit. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I understand all this shit. But these things are a gazillion. Like, the moon's 93 billion miles away. You believe that, right?
I don't know how far away it is, but it's obviously very far away. Yes.
And it's big as shit, right? I don't think it's that big. I think it's
It's,
what we see. I think what we see is where I think this is what we're seeing every day.
I mean, I don't know why the moon well, here's the thing, right? Like the moon doesn't really even have to exist in order to have an Earth orbit the sun. Like the moon does shit with tides, and I'm not a biologist, but I'm sure it does affect the way in which animals and life lives on the planet. But like the moon in of itself, like I don't even know that it's even that important, to be honest.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
But
So
the
it's
sun
like,
obviously is.
right. And what if the moon is very important?
Um, Again, I don't know how important it is for like life on the planet, but suppose the moon didn't exist, like the Earth would still orbit the sun, and that would still continue for until the sun basically goes out.
Yeah, I believe that the sun and the moon are orbiting us. I mean, rotate. This is what I think it looks like. This is what I think is happening.
So then, okay,
Yeah.
by that fashion, then don't you think you would have to concede that like all the other planets are also orbiting us? Because then you'd be kind of like picking and choosing with physics there. Like these two objects orbit the Earth, but then like the other ones aren't. That would be kind of strange, right?
Yeah, but what are those? Are those planets or those lights in the sky that we haven't fucking understood yet?
No, they're definitely planets, 100%.
How do you know that?
They're like large planets and like the reason why like ancient cultures would see them.
No, but fuck ancient cultures. How do you know that they're planet? Those are planets. Like most of those things that when you look through a telescope, they're just dots and
Yeah, they're like
all
far
those
away.
renderings. All those renderings. That's not what it looks like. Those are renderings. The planets and shit. Those are renderings.
Okay, well, obviously, if you see a tree from far away, it looks small, right? So obviously, a planet's got to be pretty big.
But if I see a green and brown mass, and then I draw a tree, that's just me rendering that green and brown mass.
Sure, okay, but at least for the moon, we don't have to do that. I mean, it's like plain in the sky, right?
Not the moon, but you're talking the other planets that are so far away that you really can't see them.
Well, sometimes you can though, depending on the lighting situation and at like rare times. But you can. Obviously, it's not going to be a nice like clear HD picture in your mind's eye that the moon has, because the moon is so much closer. But you can observe other planets like the moon. Also, I've heard with the flat Earth thing, like how do you account for gravity in that model? I've heard people
Electromagnetics. I mean, listen, a lot of that stuff can be. Listen, I'm not sitting there trying to act like I know everything. I'm not like some fucking scientist. I just feel it like when I wake up, when I walk around, this resonates to me more than the globe. And I've been indoctrinated with the globe as long as anybody else has. And it just doesn't resonate to me. I don't feel like that's what our existence is.
Well, okay, suppose what we have on the screen here is correct. What would it change? In other words, like what's the reason to hide the truth?
That's what you said it was. And then you went to the moon based on this. And if you went to the moon based on the globe, you have to keep going with the lie.
Okay.
Like how could they come back and be like, well, we went to the moon and well, you know what? Now the Earth's flat. Like, I mean, no, they went to the moon based on that lie and they're just rolling with it. And also that lie serves a purpose because it keeps people from looking outside of our puddle. Like there's other puddles, but it keeps people from venturing outside of our puddle.
I mean, what about like other things such as like like the whole sailboat proof? What about that?
I mean, all their proofs that the world is round, it never is just a big picture of the round earth. It never is something solid. It's always some fucking like put a stick here and then the sun fucking shines against the stick in the shadow. That means that the earth is round. Just show us the fucking earth is round, man.
What about, like the shuttles that Elon Musk sends up and they like land like when they
That's
return to
horse
Earth,
shit
right?
too.
Okay. I see.
SpaceX is horse shit. SpaceX is horse shit. Anything dealing with space is horse shit. There's no space. Space is outward. Everything is just the way you think it is. Like, you're standing up straight. Water finds its level. If you water can't bend as a mass. Like, water needs a vessel. Without a vessel, water just flows infinitely.
Also, this thing, like, couldn't you this model here, doesn't it imply that there's like an entire like underbelly of the planet that could be like a mirror image or something with a whole different set of people or aliens or some shit?
No, it just is what it is. Like, it ain't all that shit. It ain't all that complex metaphysical shit. It just is what it is. It's what you see.
Okay.
It's simple. It's like a dog. You see a dog right there, it's just a dog sitting right there. A cat walks up, it's just a cat that walks up. You know what I'm saying? It's not like a whole bunch of other shit than that. It's like everything else in life. It is what you see. Like this, when you look up in the sky, the sun always comes around to you. But you're told that we're on a big ass ball flying through the galaxy around the sun. What's more plausible? What would just be easier for life to create? Just like why would we have to be spiraling at a gazillion miles per hour around a fucking big ass sun with all these other planets and shit and twisting and turning and rotating on the axis and all that shit constantly?
I get because I suppose because gravity just kind of demands it, or well, it doesn't even demand it. It's just like, I don't know, here are the physical rules or properties of the universe. So that does
gravity
seem kind
explains this. Gravity doesn't demand it. Gravity explains the globe. Without gravity is one of the explanations for the globe. But everything falls down. Why would everything fall down? Because down is down. And why would some things float up? Because they're lighter than air. But most things are heavier than air, so they fall down. And I think it's that simple. I don't believe in all that gravity shit. Like, yo, of course everything falls down. You're down. You wouldn't need gravity to be like pulling you down at all times, because gravity's never failed either. Like, when has gravity failed? Gravity's perfect.
Yeah, but like if and that explains why it always falls down no matter where you are on the earth, because down is just the direction of the center of the earth.
Right. And look where all the but look where all the achievements are. All the achievements are in the center of the earth. Here you go, Uncle Frank. What's up, man? Everybody support the channel via PayPal, Cash App, and Super Chat. Hit the like button, hit the PayPal, hit the Cash App, hit the Super Chat. What's up, Uncle Frank? What's your thoughts, man? Uncle Frank? Oh, let me see. Uncle Frank?
Yo, what's going on, lads?
What's your thoughts, man?
Well, interestingly enough, this map that you've got up on the screen here, this has been proven wrong by your own flat earthers, Whitsitt and Jeranism. because they both went there and they viewed themselves a 24-hour sun in Antarctica.
Yeah, but
So
that's there. That was a big thing for them. I never even considered that as the reason why I thought the Earth was flat.
I get
That's-
that, but look at this: the way the sun's going around what you believe is to be true. The 24-hour sun couldn't happen. It's impossible because you can see on this map, Antarctica is supposed to be the outside, and the sun's going around it. So it's impossible to have a 24-hour sun.
Well, here's the thing. Maybe something else explains it.
Like,
I don't know.
could it just be
I
that?
don't know everything. But
I get it.
But what I'm saying is, if there's maybe something else explains that.
Could it just be that we're on a ball and that works out that, at the correct angle, they do have a 24-hour sun? Couldn't that be the truth? Is there anything that you could possibly find that could convince you that what they saw is true and that we are on a ball?
Yeah.
What would that be? What would you have to see?
Just a picture of the fucking Earth rotating. Like when they go, like NASA. Why is NASA so fake if they're really going up there? Like if they're going up there, because the globe depends on NASA. NASA is the proof of the globe.
So
But
what about
NASA
Russia?
Huh?
What about the Russian space agency or the Japanese space agency?
Well, I mean, they're all in
Indian-
on all the nations are in on it together because they get to tell their people that they've done something great. It's all bullshit. I think it's a collective pact. It's a pact between the countries.
So
But
once
that's-
again, even the people that you say you want a photo of the Earth to disprove it being flat, but then the photos or the quote unquote renders that they provide, you don't believe. So
Yeah, but they're
straight
not
off the bat,
photos.
you wouldn't believe it.
Like you should be able to like just stream the Earth spinning. It's
They do.
2025.
They had this like 5 or 6 years ago. They had 24-hour streams from the ISS, but you don't believe
But
that.
that's CGI though. But that's CGI.
But once again, how can you prove it if you don't believe the sources that they're providing? Here's
no,
the
what I'm
Earth.
saying, but the stuff they stream was CGI.
How do you know that?
Okay, so tell me, so what is it? You said the 24-hour stream of the Earth, right?
They stopped it like 4 years ago, but you can go on
Yeah, they
YouTube
just
and watch
stopped it. Yeah, they just stopped the fucking stream. Like we got a fucking 24-hour fucking COVID clock and shit on CNN, but
If you
just stopped the
search,
stream.
if you search ISS live stream, it'll tell you the years that they had it running for, and then they stopped it. So they do sometimes have it on YouTube, the actual live stream on YouTube. But once again, nothing they show you, you're going to believe anyway. So there really is no way of proving to you that the Earth is round.
No, but what I'm saying is CGI. Like they're not showing us the Earth; they're showing us CGI.
But there's no proof of that.
There's no proof that it's CGI.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at it. Let's look at it then. All right, this is their shit. Because remember, all this stuff is the stuff they put out. It's not the stuff that I'm putting out. I'm just going about what they put out. So this is the 24-hour space from space looking at the Earth spinning.
What looks fake about that?
Everything.
Why? What should it look like?
What should it look like?
Yeah, well, you're saying this looks fake. So
Yeah.
according to you, what should it look like to be real?
It should look like maybe the sea would be green, right? Or the sea would be dark blue, or some of the it's everything like it's too perfect. And it's
yeah, what do you have to reference that to though?
What I have a reference to?
Yeah,
the
because
fact that
yeah, go.
All pictures I've ever seen in my life.
But what I'm saying is you've got no reference, so like you can't they're making here's what our footage is, and then you're saying I don't believe it, but there's nothing else to reference it to say, well, look, I've seen other proof that says it should be more green than blue.
Well, no, all I'm saying is like I know I'm just using that as an example. Like,
yeah,
this doesn't look like. This just looks like some fake CGI bullshit.
I still don't understand how it could be said. Like, what about it looks CGI? CGI shit you see in the movies. Like
Okay, so so I thought there were clouds and
there is clouds.
okay, but those clouds look like bullshit, like fucking paint. This looks like a fucking rendering, man.
But then you just go to a different day where there's the weather's different,
And then the
you get to see
curve,
lots of
right?
cloud.
The curve, right? Like so
Yep.
so look at the curve, right?
Mhm.
Oh, the curve, how convenient. I mean, this is like yo.
Do you
This
think there
is
should be
not
more of a curve?
no. I'm saying there is no curve, and if there's a curve, it's just because it's an optical thing.
So if that's true, then I mean I've got a telescope here at home, and I have literally looked at Saturn's rings myself with my own eyes. So
Mm.
if I took the telescope, because I can see that distance, and I pointed it any direction from where I am, shouldn't I be able to see like America, where you guys are?
Yeah, go ahead.
But I can't.
And we can't
I know. That's because you're
from
on
up
the other
there.
side of the earth.
No, but we can't from up there. I don't think this shit is real. This shit looks like bullshit. Like, oh, the lights and shit from space. And so this is
But
live. All the lights is on in space and shit. All the
because
lights is on Earth and
yeah,
shit.
but all those lights are all the major areas where people live. So doesn't that make sense? Like, what should it look like? It's obviously nighttime there, so all the people on Earth have the lights on in all the major cities. Wouldn't that be what it looks like? I mean,
That's what you would think it would look like, but I mean, everybody having their lights on in the city makes it look like all this stuff is very convenient. It looks like a flat plane to me. This looks like a flat plane
Exactly.
to
You
me.
see how it's moving. It's constantly. It's like if you stationary, it's like look. It looks like a flat plane.
Couldn't you couldn't you just like get in a hot air balloon? Like it seems like such a simple, easy thing to observe.
But
with your own
millions of
eye.
people have been in hot air balloons. Millions of
even
people, yeah.
even better, if you want, you can if you search air Abflug or Airflug, it's you can actually pay in Russia to go on a ride in one of their jets, and they do a maneuver where they shoot straight up in the air at great speed, and it's like the highest you can go in a jet for a civilian, and at that height you can see the curvature of the earth, so you can do it.
Look, by civilian though, this is as high as you can go for civilian.
Yes, because otherwise you've got to get training, a special suit, space suit and all the rest of it. And then obviously it's not an airplane, you've got to go up in a rocket. So the airplane can only go up to a certain altitude, but what they do is they dive down, they nosedive to gain more speed, and they pull up vertically. And they use that energy to get up higher. And it's only for a short time, but it gets up that high so you can see a more of a curvature. Plenty of people have done it. There's lots of videos on YouTube, but once again, you're just not going to believe the video that they show you. So there really is no way to convince you guys of anything. I mean, the same way, I'm not a flat earther, obviously, but I feel sorry for Whitsett and Jeranism, because like a lot of their community is turned on them and they were just reporting what they've seen. It's kind of like if the OGs of the flat earth movement change their mind and everyone attacks them, then it kind of shows that there is no physical way to change the mind of flat earthers. They're just locked in there.
I'm not a flat earther. I just believe that we exist on an infinite flat plane. Like that's what I believe. I don't call it a flat earth. I call it a flat plane.
But wouldn't it be cooler if like we did achieve these things and we did go to space? Wouldn't that be cooler? Wouldn't that
hell
be
yeah!
like,
It'll definitely be awesome. It'll definitely be awesome. But they can't show and prove to us that this is the case. So there's something fishy about it.
What proof would you need to change your mind?
I would definitely have to see it with my own two eyes.
Well, that's kind of like you want to go to NASA and try and get a job and then train and become an astronaut. You know, that ain't going to happen. So once again, there's really no way to prove to you either. So it's kind of like impossible. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I mean, if they can give us some video, some uninterrupted video, you know, some actual footage without
like
fish
on the screen now?
islands. Say that again.
Like the video that's on the screen now?
It's not showing and proving to me that this is not a flat plane. Just because you can see a curve there doesn't show and prove that it's an actual curve. I mean, and then we can actually be looking at, you know, we could be looking at something from a point of view where it's this giant flat plane of existence that's in a circular form.
Yeah, but if you get a dinner plate, right, it's really easy. If you get a dinner plate, right, and you hold it up in front of you and you look at it, it looks round. Now, if you turn it on an angle away from you on a 45-degree angle, it looks like an oval. And you see what I'm saying? So how could you say that this is somehow flat? Like you can clearly see the curve.
Let me just read this. Boy Kachina says, why isn't this showing summer and winter change? And why do toilets and drains south of the equator spin the opposite way? No flatness, only fatness. I just think something else explains it. Like a lot of things that you guys are wondering why it is the way it is, you guys are cramming your science into this shit. Like, so your science has to explain everything. So it's like you'll cram it. You'll come up with theories. You'll come up with this, and you'll come up with all type of equations. Well, really, just look. It doesn't take all that. Just look, man. This shit is fake. I don't need an equation to tell me that this shit is fake. This shit is bullshit.
I think that others have just done their tests and they've like, oh, well, you know, in this side of the earth, the water rotates this way, and the other side of the earth, it rotates that way. We've done the test. It's proven it to be true. Let's move on to something more important. That's why they don't need to revisit it. Do you know what I'm saying? Same way with gravity and all the rest of it. They don't need to retest it and keep proving it. They know it's to be true. This is why they can make all the predictions. Same way, you can go online and you can find out when the ISS is going to fly over your house, and you can see it with the naked eye, or you can get a telescope and view it better. But why don't you get a telescope and have a look out into the sky and have a look at these planets? Maybe that might change your mind a bit.
Yeah, maybe I will. Maybe I'll go to the observatory.
Yeah, I've done that.
Once again, no, don't go to the observatory, because then you're relying on somebody else's information. Buy a shitty $100, $50 secondhand telescope. It's all you need.
I've done that.
There's literal apps on your phone that tells you where to look and where all the planets are, and you can literally view it yourself. And the interesting thing is, if any of them were flat, which they're not, they're all round. They look round, at least to our eye. If any of them were flat, like the Earth could be,
no, I'm not saying that they're flat. I'm not saying that that's. I'm saying we're flat.
But I'm explaining that I'm explaining that if by chance one of the others were flat as well, then they seem to us, when we look at them, to be perfectly round. And if they weren't and they were flat, then the only way they could be perfectly round is if they were pointing directly perfectly at us. Because if they were off kilter at any way, they wouldn't appear round. They would appear in like an oval shape. You see what I'm saying? This is kind of how we know that everything is round in a ball, because everything we view is round. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I just think something else could explain it.
Really?
No? Okay.
Something else could explain it. Like, and I think that they figured everything out. So it's like since they figured everything out, and when there's something that they can't figure out, they just use their science and their math to explain it, and instead of just thinking outside the box. Like everything is contained within their math and their science. Like they know everything, but they don't know shit. They can't get back to the fucking moon.
No, they can.
They can.
They can. Easy. Okay. Piece of piss. Do you know why they don't?
Why they haven't gone back to the moon in 50 years?
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead. Tell me why they haven't gone back to the moon in 50 years.
If we go back to the demographics of America at that time, it was majority white people.
Are you really? You joking, right?
No, not at all. Think about
Oh
it.
my God. Go
Pretty
ahead.
much-
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Pretty much all of the scientists were white, and the money, the percentage of money they were spending versus the national, they were spending way more money on this science and technology. And now, if you have a look at the demographics of America, it's clearly gone the opposite way. And the government is spending so much more money on other bullshit that they literally cannot afford to spend the time and effort and money to do it again. They went there 5 or 6 times. And the general public, once again, the demographics are changing. The people that are coming here aren't interested in space flight. They're fucking a bunch of Indians that like to shit in the street and stuff. Nothing good is coming from it. You're not importing, people that are pointing to the stars. You have to think about it. Like, whites invented space flight. It wasn't like they were like, I know how to fly. They were like, oh, there's a bird flying. I wonder if I could try that. You see what I'm saying? Like, their imagination was thinking of outside of the box, things that were impossible, the same way with space flight. And now there is none of that. America is spending wasting so much money on useless shit. They don't have the money to invest into this type of stuff. Australia's the same. Australia's even worse. Even worse.
So we can't go back to the moon
100%.
because some of the scientists aren't white men.
No, I'm not saying it's because they're not white men. I'm saying that they're not spending the same amount of money investing into the technology because they're wasting it on other useless shit.
Yeah, the priorities of the nation have changed.
Exactly.
Because the demographics of the nation have changed is basically
Exactly.
Uncle Frank's thesis.
100%.
But even in India, they landed a rover like a year or two ago. So
That's
like
bullshit. India ain't going to the fucking moon.
No, I think they
It
do.
looked like a damn Atari game.
Oh, I don't think the footage was real.
He thinks this is real. So, I mean, of course,
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
What
So-
are those?
It's
spikes?
amazing.
That's
It's
lightning?
amazing though how the video goes for a short period of time, and then you get an edit to it just jumps to something else.
But even
What?
if it didn't, it still would be CGI because this is not the live. This is not the live. This is just a 10-hour thing
Yeah.
of it. But even if it didn't skip, it was still this is still bullshit. Like there's nothing that makes this not bullshit. This is bullshit through and through.
So if all this is bullshit, then how could you explain that you can literally make predictions and find out where everything is going to be in the sky years before it happens? If all their science
From
is shit,
past
fake
information.
and gay,
Yeah. The sky,
But
I don't understand the
From
sky. Like, I
previous
don't understand
information.
all that stuff up there. But I
He's
just
talking astrology.
I don't know that. I
cosmology.
don't know everything.
It's all based.
Right.
It's not predictions. It's all based off of previous information.
Yeah, I don't
No,
know
no.
everything. I don't
But
know
what I'm-
everything, Uncle Frank.
yeah, no, I understand that. But what I'm saying is, this is the ISS is going around the Earth, and they know where it's going to be at what date, and you can
Mhm.
literally find it. Like, you can literally search it up; it'll tell you where it's going to be on what date, and then when it's going to be the day it's
No,
going to go
yeah,
to your area. You can zoom in. and see it.
that. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Yeah, I've
you're right.
done that before. I'm
Yeah.
not discounting the fact that there's high altitude orbit or things of that nature. What I'm debating, or I just don't, I don't believe in, is that we're living on this ball.
So what do you accept? Like, okay, Uncle Frank is saying basically that like the way you're positioning the question here like makes it almost impossible for us to offer any type of proof. But would you accept that, at least in theory, yeah, if you got on a hot air balloon, would there be a certain height that the hot air balloon could reach?
And believe it or not, I've been on a hot air balloon, and believe it or not, I've been skydiving numerous times. And I'll say this: I've never seen a curvature.
Okay, but would you? Okay, if you
Even
got on
on my Instagram, I have a video where I went on a high altitude flight, and I took video. Never seen curvature, and I pointed it out actually on the video, and I seen a body next to the sun that most people don't see, and I have numerous shots of video of this body next to the sun. It looks like a planet or a moon or something that nobody seems to talk about.
So when like the model Og had on the screen like 10 minutes ago with the Earth and the sun, right, orbiting. Would you agree that in theory, if you could be on the moon or be on the sun, or I guess if the sun had a pair of eyes, it could look down at the Earth, and then since the sun is so sufficiently high in the air, it would be able to tell us. In other words, what I'm saying is it possible in your mind that you would accept if you could get high enough that would be able to definitively answer the question? Maybe you didn't get high enough in the hot air balloon, but if you could go even higher, then that would be like a rational way to prove or disprove this.
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's kind of undeniable. Like, as long, maybe you don't think we have the capability to get high enough, but just in theory.
Yeah, I'm not saying we don't have the capability. I think they're hiding something from us.
What do you think that is?
The true form of this thing that we live on.
All right, let's say that's true. Let's say it is what they're telling us is a lie, and it is flat or whatever. What doesn't matter what shape it is.
Like honestly, I think it's a lot larger than what they're saying. That
Okay.
I think it's a lot larger than what they're telling us that it is.
And what would that achieve? The lying to us. What would that?
Like this whole this just in general, our existence and the purpose we're here, and and possible things that the possibilities, honestly, of what could be and what has been. Because there's a saying that my mother used to always say: there was never a time that man wasn't. But they tell us that, oh well, we came about at this time, and this is they give us all of these these different stories about creation and things of that nature. So yeah, I have tons of questions.
Yeah, Homo erectus and all that bullshit. Yeah, listen, I do believe some things about evolution and things like that. I believe that things can evolve and stuff like that. But this is about this is about the earth, the nature of what we're living on, our reality, basically. Our reality. What are we feeling when you walk outside and go get in your car? You're on a fucking big ass ball hurtling through the fucking galaxy at a gazillion million miles an hour.
Yep.
Okay. I just don't feel that. I'm not feeling that when I'm going through the earth. I'm feeling like I'm on a flat plane. When I look in the sky, I'm feeling like the sun is revolving around me.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It doesn't really make sense. I mean, everything that they claim, the Globers claim is true, or at least the explanations for it, seem to make sense. The other side is, no offense, it's just like a nah and hope and pray. Like the biggest flat earthers with their own model tried to disprove it. They went there, saw it with their own eyes, disproved it, and then they're like, yeah, well, that ain't true. So, let's think up another idea. And then they seen that their own community turned on them. So they're like, man, these guys are allergic to the truth.
I'm not turning on anybody. I'm not trying to convince anybody. Like, I'm not
saying you are. No, I'm not saying you are.
I'm not. That's just my personal. I'll be fine with that being my personal belief.
Yeah, no, exactly. My uncle's a flat earther too. There's no amount of debating will change his mind. He's locked into his ways 100%.
Yeah. I gotta holler at you on Mystic Philly in the back. All right, Mystic Philly. Mystic Philly. This dude always. Oh fuck.
He stepped away.
Oh, okay. Let me any final thoughts on this though? Do you have any final thoughts?
No.
I heard you, Ak. I heard you.
Yeah. Huh? All right, man. Same black time, same black channel. I'm out of here. Peace out.
Peace.
Hey, what's going on, man? Let me hear something, man.
What's up, man? I ain't got nothing to hear for you. I don't have nothing for you to hear right now. I'm not in a situation to be able to play for anything for you right now.
But you came up with something, man?
Oh yeah. I got several things I came up with. Yeah, I got several things that I came up with. Saturday, anytime Saturday after 12 is perfect.
Okay, yeah, man. Because I mean, yeah, I'm excited to hear what you came up with, man.
Oh yeah, I got 6 different joints that I came up with so far. You know, I got some beats. I got like full out beats, and then I also have some I got like just like different rhythms and different elements that you can
Yeah, I
hear.
know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Vibes
to give you
and
an
shit.
idea.
Yeah,
Yep.
Ideas and shit.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right, man. Well,
I just been running
call me
around.
call me on
I've
Saturday.
been all right. Yeah, I just been running around all crazy since I got back. But I definitely didn't forget about you.
Yeah, man. Just call me on Saturday then.
All right, that's what's
All right,
up.
bro.
All right.